Prueba indiscutible de que el cáncer es en realidad una infección microparasitaria y que la investigación convencional sobre el cáncer aún no lo ha reconocido como tal. Y esta teoría fue presentada por el doctor Weber y algunos científicos del Instituto Max von Pettenkofer, un instituto muy renombrado en Múnich, Alemania, y desafortunadamente no ha ganado mucha fuerza, a pesar de la prueba que verá en este video. Así que sin más preámbulos, veamos el video a continuación y lo que los científicos han observado, y podrás verlo tú mismo y formar tu propia opinión. Y luego continuaremos. Hablaremos algunas implicaciones de esta prueba y algunas conclusiones que podremos sacar de ella. Cómo debemos proceder y cómo debemos tratar a los pacientes con cáncer. Entonces, sin más preámbulos, profundicemos en el video que demuestra que el cáncer es una infección parasitaria.
Let's go more than 30 years back in time. At the renowned Pettenkofer Institute in Munich, Germany, 3 German medical doctors, Dr. Übing Schierz and Dr. Winter, were busy studying strange objects in human blood. They published their results in the renowned scientific journal Ärztliche Praxis under the title Unusual Corpuscular Elements in Blood. Here is what the article read. When counting red blood cells in human blood that has been thinned with saline solution, we can often detect corpuscles, which cannot be categorized as blood cells. Those are oval or grape-shaped particles with a length of 2 to 3,000 millimeters. We can observe those corpuscles in an astonishingly wide range of patients. We have also observed that those small oval forms can penetrate into red blood cells, which leads to a change in shape of the blood cells and the excretion of round objects after a certain amount of time. Research has also shown that the described objects are most probably cells of a parasitical nature. Blood infection according to Dr. Weber. Another medical doctor of that era, Dr. Alfons Weber, conducted similar experiments since the early 60s and realized before the doctors of the Max von Pettenkofer Institute that the agile corpuscles were the cause of the blood infection. He filmed the experiment in the 60s to 80s and created thereby unique evidence. The microparasites described by Dr. Weber that you can see here can be found in the tissue of all cancer patients. Some examples. Here you can see a blood sample that has been dried over a flame. The patient suffers from leukemia. Here you see the blood sample of a patient suffering from liver cancer. Here the blood of a patient with bladder cancer. And this is tissue from the bladder carcinoma. You can clearly see the lively movements of the microbes. Here the diagnosis is that of lymph node metastasis. This is an almost mature gamete. He can be found in the space between the cells. And here a blood sample after a mammal surgery. You can see a dying leukocyte. Patient is suffering from breast cancer. Diagnosis: cell complex of an uterus tumor. This is the blood of a patient suffering from a lip carcinoma. And here cells of a lung carcinoma. In the lower left part you can clearly see red blood cells in whose innards there are lively microparasites. Here a tumor cell from a bladder carcinoma. You can clearly see the vacuoles. String-shaped structures. All recordings have one thing in common. You can see certain reoccurring types of microbes in all of them. There is no tumor tissue without these microbes. There is no blood of a cancer patient without those microparasites. The microparasites that have not yet been acknowledged by mainstream medicine as the cause of cancer have been comprehensively shown by Dr. Weber. They belong to 2 species. A. String-shaped, grown up. Their length is 2 times that of a red blood cell. B. Stick-shaped. This is the most commonly found shape. The length of this gamete is about the diameter of a red blood cell. The youth form of both species are round or oval-shaped. In normal blood tests, those parasites normally remain undetected, as they are hiding inside of the red blood cells. They are perfectly camouflaged by the exterior of the blood cell. The inner of the blood cell also offers plenty of food in the shape of oxygen and hemoglobin. The parasite enters as a so-called merocyte, the youth form, into the cell and fattens up and grows to its full size.